Sonic vs. Kratos, Sega's Blue Blur vs. Santa Monica's Ghost of Sparta, the Speedy Hedgehog vs. the Godslayer. Who will win? Let us know your pick in those comments below. Hey everybody, welcome back to Versus, a video series that puts your favorite characters together in the ring to see who will come out on top. Today we're looking at Sonic, Sega's pride and joy, or rather their moneymaker, and Kratos, the god of war, the Spartan demigod who recently made a major comeback in the video game industry with Santa Monica's revival of the series, featuring the warrior now as a father, facing off against a whole new mythology, the monsters and the gods of the Norse realm. Now, a few things to consider. We're looking at both versions of the characters from their video games, not versions of them from their comics. We'll also be looking at both characters at their base level. So, no Chaos Emeralds for Sonic, and Kratos' capabilities in this video are the ones that he starts off with in the beginning of the recent God of War game. Neither will have any help from their pals or family members. So no dad or boy at this battle.
Somebody touch my
boy. And heads up, this video does contain spoilers for the God of War game, the most recent one. You've been warned. Alright, let's start off by diving into the origins of these two iconic characters, starting off with Kratos. Kratos is an anti-hero who has a long and bloody history that began in the first God of War game back in 2005. Ares tricked the Spartan warrior into accidentally killing his family, which spawned Kratos' quest for vengeance against the gods. After killing Ares in the first game, he becomes the god of war, and is revealed to be a demigod, the son of Zeus, who later betrays him. Over the course of the next 7 games, we further learn about the intricacies of Kratos' origins and the relationships he had with the Greek gods. And as most of you who have played at least one of the games in the God of War franchise knows, it gets pretty messy for anyone who isn't on Kratos' side. Kratos' name has long been associated with extreme violence, arrogance, and moral ambiguity. In the past, the character has been criticized for being black and white, with not much personality beyond his rage, making him quite overrated, according to some. Specifically IGN. The recent installment of God of War changed all that. Kratos went from being a character who was a broken, tragic man consumed entirely by his own rage, to a nuanced warrior trying to figure out how to be a father, while he and his young son carry out his second wife's last wishes. Alright, moving on to Sonic now. Sonic was the product of Sega's desire to compete with Nintendo. After the Italian plumbers started making major waves for the company back in the late 80s, Sega held an internal competition at their Sega Technical Institute to create a new mascot for their company that would replace their old and stale one, Alex Kidd. Sonic the Hedgehog was the winner, with the Blue Hedgehog getting his own platformer game in 1991. His antagonist, Dr. Eggman, who was also a product of the same internal competition, made his debut alongside Sonic, and gave Sega a major hit title. This led to the production of 2 other games of the same genre, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, both of which have gone down in history as being some of the best platform games to date. Unfortunately for Sonic, it was a bit downhill for him from there. Aside from producing a handful of good games like Sonic Generations over the years, Sega churned out some pretty terrible ones, and they had some pretty bad lows. Like Sonic making out with a lady in Sonic 06. Yeah, no thanks. But not all is lost. Sonic Mania, a game that remixed Sonic's classic platformers, made a splash in 2017, thanks to the mindful crafting of hardcore Sonic fan and developer Christian Whitehead and his team. Alright, let's move on to their abilities. Sonic is the video game industry's numero uno speedster. Not much can catch up to him. But to be perfectly fair, many have gotten really close to it. At times it seems as if Sonic is a fraction faster than most. Shadow, Metal Sonic, and even Dr. Robotnik at times have been hot on his tail. Sonic's powers all derive from his speed. His spin dash, spin jump, homing attacks, you name it. His speeds reach up to Mach 1, around 768 miles per hour, and he's been hailed to be the fastest thing alive, according to his universe. He's fought giant robots, demons, and godlike beings, and when he's acquired all 7 Chaos Emeralds, he can enter his supersonic state. Moving on to Kratos. He's also had quite the impressive track record. He's pretty much killed every single Greek god out there. Ares, Kronos, Poseidon, and his daddy, Zeus, to name a few. It's undeniable that he's pulled off some seriously impressive feats over the years. While each God of War game sees Kratos getting a bit of a serious power upgrade, we're specifically looking at the character as he appears in the beginning of the most recent God of War game, in which his strength and speed is enough to combat the god Baldur, who initially appears as a stranger seeking Kratos out. While Kratos doesn't manage to kill him in that instance thanks to Baldur's spell of immortality, by the time the end of the game rolls around, the spell's broken, and Kratos comes out on top. Kratos is just as skilled with his fists in hand-to-hand combat as he is with any other weapon, and his background and experience as a warrior fighting some of the most unusual and powerful monsters and beings out there surely makes him one of the strongest and most skilled characters in modern day video games. Now on to the fight. Well, all things considered, this may seem like a no-brainer. let's give this hypothetical battle a go, shall we? Sonic's speed would surely be a tough challenge for Kratos to overcome. He'd be running circles around the god at first. That being said, in addition to all of the gods that Kratos has killed, he's also killed someone who's got pretty similar traits to our favorite blue hedgehog. Hermes. You know, the god who taunted him about having brute force but lacked speed. Well, guess who managed to outwit the fastest Greek god of them all? Yeah. While Hermes was very right about Kratos having unrivaled brute strength, what he failed to catch onto was that Kratos also boasts superb accuracy. As the Spartan consistently reminds his son in the latest God of War game, accuracy over speed. And by the end of the day, in a battle against the Blue Blur, we have no doubt that Kratos would overcome Sega's hedgehog. So, who's the winner? Well, Kratos, by a landslide really. The God of War may not have as lengthy a history as Sega's hedgehog, but he's arguably way more versatile. While Sonic has shown to be incredibly adaptable, so is Kratos, and he's managed to find a way to take on every foe that's ever crossed his path. Kratos is a warrior, he lives and breathes the art of war, and Sonic just isn't up to par with that. And to be fair, if you were facing Sonic from the comics, maybe the outcome of this battle would be a different story, but perhaps that's a battle our sister channel Top 10 Nerd should take on. Speaking of, if you dig our Versus videos, be sure to give Top 10 Nerd a look-see as well. It's a channel about all things comic books and geeky pop culture, and we have a lot of verses on there with your favorite comic book characters. Anyway, be sure to give us a shout in those comments below about whether or not you agree with our pick, or if you think Sonic should have won this battle. If you dug this video, please spread the love and hit those like, subscribe buttons, and if you're feeling like more gaming versus videos, or just gaming content in general, swing by our channel and click that playlist we currently have up on your screen. In the meantime, thanks for watching everybody, hope to catch you all in the next one.